I never thought my marriage would end like this. Lisa and I had been together for 10 years, building a life that I believed was unshakable. We had our ups and downs like any couple, but I always thought we were solid. That was until I discovered the truth. The kind of truth that leaves you breathless, that turns your stomach, and makes your heart pound so loudly you can barely think. It wasn't just suspicion that led me to the discovery. It wasn't paranoia or a gut feeling. It was undeniable proof. Lisa had left her phone on the kitchen counter while she was in the shower. Normally, I wouldn't have looked, but the screen lit up with a message that made my blood run cold. "Last night was amazing. Can't wait to see you again." I knew that name. I knew that number. It was her coworker, Mark. I picked up the phone, my hands shaking as I scrolled through their conversation. There were texts, pictures, plans for secret meetups, months' worth of deception laid out in front of me, like a horror story I never wanted to read. I felt sick. The air in the room felt heavier, as if the walls were closing in. My knees felt weak, but I forced myself to stand. When Lisa walked into the kitchen, freshly showered, smiling like nothing had changed, I held up the phone. She didn't even flinch. Instead, she sighed. A long, exaggerated sigh, like I had caught her doing something as trivial as forgetting to take the trash out. Then she looked at me, eyes steady, and said, "Stop being silly, James. There won't be a divorce." I let out a bitter laugh, shaking my head in disbelief. "Are you serious right now? You've been sneaking around with Mark for months, and you think we're just going to act like nothing happened?" She stepped closer, placing her hands gently on my chest, the same way she always did when she wanted to calm me down or change my mind. "It used to work, not this time. Just give me one night," she whispered. "One night to prove that this marriage is worth saving." The audacity of it stunned me. After everything, she thought she could erase the betrayal with a single night? Maybe I agreed out of curiosity, or maybe I just wanted to see what kind of performance she would put on. Either way, I nodded. "Fine," I said. "One night." That evening, Lisa put on a show. She cooked my favorite meal: steak, mashed potatoes, garlic bread, even the exact way I liked it. She wore the blue dress I used to love, the one she hadn't worn in years. She dimmed the lights, played soft music in the background. Our wedding song. Every little detail was carefully planned. She laughed at my jokes a little too much, held my hand a little too tightly, and looked at me with wide, pleading eyes. Everything about it felt scripted, forced. As the night went on, I watched her closely. She was trying so hard to recreate something that no longer existed. Every touch, every smile, every word was meant to make me forget. But I couldn't forget. I could still see the messages in my head, the pictures, the lies. I could still feel the weight of the betrayal pressing down on my chest. No amount of home-cooked meals or old songs could change that. Toward the end of the night, she leaned in close, resting her head against my shoulder. "See?" she murmured. "We're perfect together. Just forget about everything else." And that was when I understood. Lisa wasn't trying to fix our marriage. She wasn't trying to make things right. She just wanted to rewrite the story, to make me doubt my own reality. She wanted me to believe that I was overreacting, that the pain I felt was irrational. She didn't regret cheating. She regretted getting caught. The next morning, I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I simply handed her the divorce papers I had prepared. "You said one night," I told her. "One night to prove it, and you did." Her expression didn't change at first, but then she smirked, shaking her head like I was the fool. "You'll regret this." But as I walked out the door, feeling lighter than I had in months, I knew the truth. I wouldn't regret it, not for a second.